Now race fans, your top 10. Starting 10th from Oka, Quebec, the Home Hardware, Richelieu Ford, number 24, Thomas Neveu. Starting 9th from Oakville, Ontario, the Big Chief Snacks, E3 Spark Plugs O'Neill Electric Duma Dodge number 84, Larry Jackson. Starting 8th from St. Thomas, Ontario, the Castrol Edge Brimstone Games CIM Metals Dodge number 17, DJ Kennington. Starting 7th from Barrie, Ontario, the Leland Industries NTN Chevrolet number 64, Mark Dilly. We've heard a lot of that over the years. We love you, Mark. Your final NASCAR series start. What a journey it's been, Mark. Why here in Saskatoon?
Well, it was just fitting. I mean, we've had great luck here over the years. Fans have been awesome. Byron from Leland always brings out a huge crowd of people. The Leland Industries 250. So it's just, yeah, it was the place to do it. And hey, you know what? Like I said, I mean, I can't even remember how many years we've been coming here and racing, but the group of fans that come out year after year, you've been amazing. I thank you all very much. I thank all the sponsors, all the volunteers that work here. I thank everyone, and have a great night, and hopefully it's a good show.
There you have it. Mark Dilly going to roll off 7th. Starting 6th from Grand Prairie, Alberta, the Crown Pal Ventures Burmar Rewind Rock Chevrolet number 46, Jamie Krizik. Starting 5th from Bois-Chatel, Quebec, the Group Teej Volcane Chevrolet number 80, Donald Teej. Starting 4th from Stouffville, Ontario, the Asa Abloy Leland Industries Chevrolet number 3, Jason Hathaway. Starting 3rd from Roxton Pond, Quebec, the GM Paillet Chevrolet Canada number 27, Andrew Ranger. And now your front row, starting 2nd from St. Eustache, Quebec, the Quick Strut Napa Racing Dodge number 74, Gavin Lacroix. And your E3 Spark Plugs pole sitter from St. Leonard d'Aston, Quebec, the GM Paillet Chevrolet Canada number 96, Mark Antoine Cameron. It's time to do the check dance, Mark, front and center. Today's E3 Spark Plugs pole award goes to Mark Antoine Cameron, driver the number 96. In our most recent series race at Saskatchewan Speedway, the Ever and Fastest Lap Award goes to Mark Antoine Cameron. The Freshstone Brands Midway Leader Award goes to Mark Antoine Cameron. The Leland Industries Lap Leader Award goes to Mark Antoine Cameron. And the Pinty's Winner of the Race Award goes to Mark Antoine Cameron. Race fans, at this time, we ask you to please rise and remove your hats as we welcome our motor racing outreach representative, Tom Kipp, to give today's invocation.
Good evening. Before we get started, we're going to offer our friend Bella Thompson a brief moment of silence. Some of you may remember Bella was our 2023 Grand Marshal here at Sutherland Automotive Speedway. She and her brother we had sent in a video of that famous command, "Start your engines." This past week, she passed away, and she will always be remembered for a person of great strength and great bravery and great joy as well, I'm told. So would you now please join me in a moment of silence in honor of Bella Brave. Gracious God and Father, our lives are so short, but you have truly blessed us in unimaginable ways. Please help us to make the most of every moment you give. God, we thank you for the many ways you've blessed this great nation. We thank you for our veterans. We thank you for first responders and all of those serving both home and abroad tonight. We ask you for a great race tonight, a safe race tonight. Please be with these brave drivers and help them each lap of this race to perform well and to do their very best, and most of all, have a lot of fun doing it. We pray also for these many fans, Lord, that we may truly experience a great night of world-class racing here at Sutherland Automotive Speedway once again, and we pray all this in Christ's name. Amen.
And if you'd please remain standing, let's welcome Sheldon Tyke to sing the national anthems.
Oh,
check, check. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave. Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for
will strap themselves into those race machines. And it will soon be time for the most famous words in motorsport. What a season it has been. We've raced in Ontario, we've raced in Quebec, we've raced in Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, and now come back across the country for the Western Swing. The points have never been tighter, folks. Marc-Antoine Cameron, Andrew Ranger, Kevin Lacroix, all in the running, veterans like Jason Hathaway, DJ Kennington. But the fun part about the Western Swing, one of the best parts about these races is the local competitors. Jamie Krizik in the 46, Matthew Shirley in the 28, Chantel Kalika in the 43. They will play a role in the outcome of this race. We've got some drivers who have struggled a bit today. LP Dumoulin, normally lightning quick, much deeper in the field than we would expect. Mark Dilley in his final career NASCAR start. He's going to come from a little deeper in the top 10, but never count out the veteran driver of that 64 machine. Now, Mike, are your legs long enough that you can stand on both sides at the same time? Normally, Clinton Jeffrey calling the races up in the booth. Today, Clinton, you're on pit road. You get to chase the action. How excited are you? First off, how did your introduction go? Because that's the stressful part of the day. There's a script. You've got to follow it. You've got to nail it. How'd you do?
We had a great day. It's great to be here in Saskatoon, and what a beautiful day we had. A little bit hot, but nothing we can't deal with. Excited to be back here in front of these great race fans, and this is a great track to be at, Adam.
Midway break. This is the last couple of years we've been out. We've had twin features, two separate points-paying events. I'm excited that we're back to a race with a midway break, so drivers can come in, their teams can go to work and make adjustments. That's when you're going to be busy up and down pit road, chasing the stories. How pumped are you to be down there right in the mix of all of it?
Well, it's a hot day to be wearing this suit running up and down pit road, but it's great to be here with the TSN crew. I'm excited, Adam. I think it brings a lot of strategy back in when we, bring out the brakes instead of doing the split races. I'm excited about it. I think we're going to have some guys maybe do some out-of-the-box thinking here tonight.
No, I think you're absolutely right. Just moments away, folks. From the command, we see Marc-Antoine Cameron, the window net not quite up on the 96. Rangers strapped in, the window net's buckled up. Drivers up and down pit road getting their comforts in place. Cold drinks in the car. These fire suits are not entirely comfortable on a hot summer day, and this was a hot summer day. Donald Teach front and center, as close to victory lane as you can get for the start of this race. He has been lightning fast all season long. He has not had the good fortune to go with the speed. Could tonight be the night? He has won here before. He would love to do it again. All right, fans, we're going to put you to work a little bit. Who thinks Jamie Krizik, starting from the 6th spot, has a shot at the win tonight, a shot to land on the podium by the end of this thing? He looked good in practice. As you look up and down pit road, or up and down the front straightaway, sorry, there are crew members at every race car except for the 46 of Jamie Krizik. He is buckled in, helmet on, ready to go. He wants to get this race started. Always a huge pop when we come out here for Matthew Shirley and Chantel Kalika. They're starting deep in the field, but they could come through as well. 250 laps in tonight's Leland Industries 250 is a long time to get things done. Each of them have a great shot at a best career finish here tonight. Yeah, give them a round of applause. The amount of effort that goes into preparing one of these cars, getting a team together, getting the funding together to come out here and put on a show, and these racers do it year after year. We love it when we come out west and we have local competitors get involved.
Start your engine.
And the field rolls behind the pace vehicle. All cars in the grid were able to take off. "250 laps is the distance. There will be a break around the midway point. Enter around lap 125. These cars will all come down pit lane and take on service. Fresh general tires, a load of race fuel, and then race to the finish in this Leland Industries 250. It is a blazing hot day here in Saskatoon. Thankfully this evening, temperature's coming down a little bit, but the flags aren't moving a whole lot. Not a ton of breeze, a hot day for these race teams, a hot day for these race car drivers as well. Our last few races were shorter distance, 100 laps at Oswego on the dirt, 150 laps for 2 races at Riverside. So 250 laps here tonight is going to be a challenge for these drivers, but they are up to the test. Mike Green, the Western sales manager for Leland Industries, up in the flag stand. He's going to wave the green flag over the field. One to go this time of the straight. Next time at a turn number 4, we will set them loose with the green flag in the Leland Industries 250. Emotional pre-race for Mark Dilley, driver of the 64, who's competed for decades in stock car racing's highest levels across Canada. He's raced down through the United States, made a career as a race car driver. Not an easy thing to do for a stock car racer in Canada. Cameron on the inside in the 96. Kevin Lacroix on the high side in the 74 as they come to the Pinty start zone. Cameron must fire first. We are underway in the Leland Industries 250. Side by side, they battle through turns number 1 and 2. Kevin Lacroix with a good run on the high side until they get some temperature built up in these general tires. These cars are a handful. Quite often, the outside lane can be the preferred lane. Right now, it seems dead even between the inside and the outside. Kevin Lacroix led lap number 1. Who's going to lead lap 2? Marc-Antoine Cameron in the 96 noses out in front, and even racing side by side, they were able to gap Andrew Ranger, so Kevin Lacroix ducks down in line, gets himself single file. The top 6 nose to tail single file, and then it's DJ Kennington and Jamie Krizik racing side by side for 7th. Look at the accordion down into turn number 3. Kennington so very smooth. That is the calling card of DJ Kennington. Smooth on the brakes, smooth on the throttle, smooth on the steering wheel. He clears the 46 of Jamie Krizik. Now the first side-by-side battle has LP Dumoulin in the 47 racing with Thomas Neveu in the 24. That battle for the 10th spot as Neveu noses out ahead off of turn number 2, but Dumoulin piles it into 3. Contact. They both slide up the racetrack but keep on going. They remain side by side for that 10th spot. Out in front, Marc-Antoine Cameron, they were just about 3 wide there. Matthew Shirley had a look to the inside of both Dumoulin and Neveu. Now Shirley will make the pass on the 24 machine. Right behind them, Glenn Stiers in the 0, Chantal Kalika in the 43. Donald Teach in the 80 and the 64 of Mark Dilley both look to be fairly aggressive right now. It looks like they might be a little bit faster than the 3 of Jason Hathaway. Dilley to the inside of Teach. Couldn't make that work in 1 and 2, but Jason Hathaway has lost a bit of ground to the top 3 ahead of it. Cameron out in front by about 4 car lengths over Kevin Lacroix. The field evenly matched as Dilley with another great run off of turn number 2 to the inside of Donald Teach. He'll drive it deep into 3 and 4. Dilley noses out ahead, so smooth on the throttle. Mark Dilley picks up the 5th spot. He hasn't cleared the 80 of Donald Teach, but he's got that preferred inside groove. Dilley still with the position at the line, but he hasn't cleared the 80. Another battle further ahead as Andrew Ranger making a move on his teammate. The 74 of Kevin Lacroix. Lacroix able to tuck in line ahead of the 3 of Jason Hathaway, but give Andrew Ranger the 2nd spot. Let's see if he can close the gap on Marc-Antoine Cameron. We tell the story every race because it's worth telling. Marc-Antoine Cameron in the 96, Andrew Ranger in the 27. They share a primary sponsor in GM Paillet, but that is as far as the relationship goes. The team that Andrew Ranger races for is with the 74 of Kevin Lacroix. An odd relationship of sorts, but it seems to work because between the 3 of them, they have won a lot of races here this season. Jamie Krizik has settled back into the 8th spot, just ahead of the 84 of Larry Jackson. 250 laps the distance. The conditions earlier on when they practiced and when they qualified were blazing hot. It is a fair bit cooler out there at this point than it was early in the going. Mark Dilley looking aggressive out there. He had a poke to the inside of Jason Hathaway in that 3 machine. Hathaway running about a half a lane off the bottom of the racetrack. Dilley able to hug the inside in the corners in that Leland Industries number 64. How great would it be for Mark Dilley if he could come out here and score a podium result? Dilly again, very strong, entering turn number 1. That seems to be where he draws the closest to the back bumper of the 3, Jason Hathaway. There again in 3 and 4, he'll poke the nose to the inside off of turn number 4. Hathaway gives that inside line to the 64 of Dilly. He'll try to drag race him down the back straightaway. 3 of the most prolific oval track racers in the history of our series are right now battling. The 64 of Mark Dilly, the 3 Jason Hathaway, the 17 DJ Kennington. Since 2007, when NASCAR came to Canada, they have been 3 of the top competitors on oval tracks year after year. Dilly still with a look at the inside of Jason Hathaway, but he's got to get that car rotated and get back to the throttle. We're 25 laps in to this Leland Industries 250. Hathaway gets high in turn number 1. Advantage Mark Dilly as they race into 3. Dilly with the position at the line. Hathaway up high. Mark Dilly almost clear of the 3. He leaves the lane to the outside. Hathaway with a big head of steam on the exit of turn 2. He'll try to clear him again here on the front straightaway, but Hathaway not giving up, gets loose into turn number 1. Dilly goes by, Kennington goes by. A little further behind them, Jamie Krizik in the 8th spot in that 46, trying to hold off Larry Jackson, LP Dumoulin, Matthew Shirley. That is a 4-car train. 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th all in a row as Larry Jackson looking pretty sporty. And the Big Chief Snacks, E3 Spark Plugs, number 84. Glenn Stiers to the inside of Thomas Naveau. They race through turn number 4. Stiers was having a great run on the dirt at Ohsweken, running in the 7th spot when broken rear suspension forced him out of the race. Now Chantel Kalika to the inside of Thomas Naveau as well. DJ Kennington to the inside of Mark Dilly. That's a battle for the 4th spot. 4th and 5th side by side. Right behind them, 6th and 7th side by side is Donald Deej, who recently found the outside wall at Riverside, courtesy of the 3 of Jason Hathaway. You could see he rubbed up the 3 pretty good at the exit of turn number 4. Kennington still trying to make that move on Mark Dilly. Dilly pedaling as hard as he can out there. Whoa, gets all sorts of sideways off at turn 2. Jason Hathaway driving that 3 machine pretty hard, trying to close in on the 80 of Donald Teague. That's a battle we want to keep an eye on. We might see the start of a rivalry here as Hathaway has closed in on the 80. He'll drive it deep into turn number 1, put the nose to the inside. Right on the back bumper of the 80 machine is the 3 of Hathaway. Now Jason Hathaway to the inside. Teague still with the position. They'll race side by side into turn number 1. Kennington has made the pass of Mark Dilly, but Dilly not giving up the chase. At this point of the season, these drivers have had their feathers ruffled enough times. They know who to give a break to. They know who they're going to race harder than anybody else. And that's what we're seeing right now a little bit, particularly with the 3 and the 80 at the front. It's a 3-car breakaway. Marc-Antoine Cameron in the 96, the 27 of Andrew Ranger, the 74 of Kevin Lacroix. Dilly had a good run off of turn number 2. Thought better of it, checked up just a little bit. Stayed in line with DJ Kennington. If he looks in his rearview mirror, he'll see the 3 of Jason Hathaway slowly closing that gap. Last time at the stripe, Hathaway was 0.2 of a second faster than Dilly in the 64. Further back, Glenn Stiers is closing in on the 84 of Larry Jackson. Jackson runs in the 11th spot. Glenn Stiers is 12th in the 0. The 43 of Chantal Kalika is 13th. Everybody so far having a clean run out here at Sutherland Automotive Speedway with 210 laps still to go. Now Jason Hathaway to the inside of Mark Dilley. He'll make the move through turn number 2. Move Hathaway into the top 5 in that 3 machine with Donald Teege in the 80 closing in as well. Looking for battles around the racetrack. Jamie Krizik holds on to the 8th spot, but LP Dumoulin with a nose to the inside through 3 and 4. Dumoulin trying to get the drive off the corner. A couple of marks along the right side of the LP Dumoulin 47. Signs of contact earlier on in this race. Dumoulin still with a nose to the inside of the Krizik 46. Matthew Shirley right behind them in the 28 machine. Crush It Hard Iced Tea, the sponsor on the Shirley number 28, is Glenn Stiers and Chantel Kalika to the inside of Larry Jackson. With the leaders closing in, Thomas Neveu in the 24, about a half straightaway ahead of Marc-Antoine Cameron, and only another half straightaway ahead is the battle between Chantel Kalika and the 43 and the 84 of Larry Jackson. So their spotters will be on the radio telling them it is time to get a move on as Chantel Kalika completes the pass of Larry Jackson. Jason Hathaway trying to pick up the 4th spot from DJ Kennington, the 17. Hathaway gets his nose to the inside, gets a little bit loose there in turn 4. Kennington probably could have closed the door there in turn number 1. It's early in the race, though. He's going to leave that lane there for Hathaway if he's the faster car. Thomas Neveu goes a lap down to Marc-Antoine Cameron. Now Andrew Ranger in the 27 drives to the inside of that 24. Hathaway still digging to the inside of DJ Kennington. They race side by side through 3 and 4. 50 laps into the Leland Industries 250. 200 laps remain. Larry Jackson, the next car ahead of race leader Marc-Antoine Cameron, as Jason Hathaway slides up the track in turn number 2, nearly making contact with Kennington in the 17. That battle rages on as they race down the front straightaway towards turn number 1. Kennington has now almost made that outside groove his preferred line. He's been out there in that second groove for the last number of laps, and Jason Hathaway just hasn't been able to complete the pass. One thing you'll notice with DJ Kennington, particularly in turn 1, he's almost up into the 3rd lane at the entry of turn 1. He's getting a good drive through the corner, able to keep up his momentum. Fun to watch this crafty veteran at work. Look at the gap between the 3 and the 17. You could fit almost a car and a half between them side by side, but DJ Kennington has found something up there that's really letting him keep the momentum rolling in the Castrol Edge 17. That's the best battle on the racetrack. We keep our focus there. It's a race for the 4th spot, as Larry Jackson has now gone a lap down. Next ahead of the race leader is Chantel Kalika in the 43, but she's putting the pressure on Glenn Stiers in the 0. DJ Kennington again clears the 3 of Jason Hathaway, and you'll notice he's keeping that 17 car up the racetrack. The only driver I've noticed that's really gone up to use that second groove, although Donald Teege a little bit higher on the track than we'd normally see him. Let's look at the leaders, because Andrew Ranger is notorious for moving up the racetrack to find an alternate racing groove in that 27 machine. Glenn Stiers 11th, Chantel Kalika is 12th in the 43, and you can see the leaders about 8 car lengths behind this battle. We're almost halfway to the midway break. The leaders were laying down some impressive laps. They've lapped a couple of race cars so far. LP Dumoulin goes around the 64 of Mark Dilley, so Dilley sliding back just a little bit as Cameron to the inside of Chantel Kalika down into 3 and 4. Andrew Ranger to the inside of Kalika off of turn 2. Kevin Lacroix do the same. Get to that inside lane, close in on the back bumper of Andrew Ranger. Kalika doing a good job getting up out of the way of those race leaders. And now Glenn Stiers is next in line to go a lap down, as the lead trio is more than a straightaway ahead of the side-by-side battle for fourth between DJ Kennington and Jason Hathaway. So Glenn Stiers in the zero machine. He knows the leaders that they're behind him. He needs to hold a steady line. He can go high, he can go low. He doesn't have to move over and get out of the way of the leaders. He just has to hold a steady line as the leaders are behind him. Flagman Mike Charret waving the move over flag. Andrew Ranger closes to the back bumper of Marc-Antoine Cameron. Cameron knows it's a long race. Don't take any chances. He doesn't want to put that 96 car in a bad position. And right now, Glenn Stiers is running a predictable line around the racetrack. So it's up to the leaders to find a way to get around. Sometimes they'll move to the outside. Sometimes they will decide enough is enough, give a little bit of a nudge. That's what Cameron did right there, slipped to the inside of Glenn Stiers. Now Chantel Kalika has a lot of reason to want to pass that zero machine. Right now, Glenn Stiers in the free pass position for when a yellow flag comes out. And Chantel Kalika did a great job driving to the inside. When Kevin Lacroix went through, she drives the inside of Glenn Stiers as well. He gives her a bump through turn number 4 and drives back to the inside of her. Chantel Kalika closing back on the back bumper of Stiers. She'll give him a nudge in return. Oh, they make contact. Around goes Kalika in the 43. She'll sit backwards in turn number 4. But Chantel Kalika got pushed around and she pushed back. Now the unfortunate thing for Kalika, as we just heard the 43 car fire, is she's now lost a second lap. She gets the car turned back around. She'll get in line right behind Jason Hathaway. A little bit of damage to the right front fender on that Lake Country Co-op number 43. We don't normally see that aggression from Glenn Stiers in the zero machine. But he might have taken, problem, Mark Dilley. That car coughing and backfiring. And he is limping down the back straightaway. What a tough situation for Mark Dilley, who early in this race was battling for a top 3 spot.
Football is all about smart moves, quick reads, and being one step ahead. Same goes for the Chevy Silverado. It's everything I need in a truck. Power, range, and all the best tech. Dependability comes standard. This truck moves fast, plays smart, and plays to win. Chevy Silverado, ready for your next play. Visit your local New England Chevy dealer today.
So I'm not sure. They're moving the lap cars to the tail of the field, but I'm not sure why the zero is not the free pass car. You can see the crew has gone down to collect the 64 of Mark Dilley. Clinton Jeffrey is on the scene, but I don't know if we have his feed or not.
So Dilly down here on pit road, they've got engine issues. They will go under the hood here. We heard possibly a fire under the hood. Don't see any issues just yet. They're going in looking at the ignition and stuff like that, but I think everything looks all right as far as we can tell from the outside, guys.
And you heard a big pop. Now, one of the ways you can cheat when you're watching car races and know what's going on, watch the TSN crew. They're running down to Donald Teage's pit. So Donald Teage coming down pit road, Jamie Krizik, Larry Jackson. They are all coming into their pit crews for some service.
Teach here on pit road, they've been complaining about an extremely loose condition here, so they will make an adjustment on the 80 here of Teach. Once again, talking about extremely loose to the early part of this race. Larry Jackson also pulls in here. They're going to make an adjustment on the right rear of his car as well. Looks like both of them are running loose tonight.
Larry Jackson on pit road as well. We're going to go 1 to go before we get back to green. Jackson going to take off, and through veteran driving, he knows you got to beat that pace truck, and that's what he's doing. Thomas Neveu down pit road. So I can only assume Chantel Kalika was in the free pass position when they went back to the last completed lap, and because she was the yellow flag, there was no free pass. Pace truck down off the racetrack, 75 laps complete in this Leland Industries 250. Marc-Antoine Cameron crawling, and look at how high he's got Andrew Ranger on the racetrack, almost up into the marbles as they come off of turn number 4 to the Pinty's restart zone. Andrew Ranger, a longtime veteran of this sport, he was up to the challenge as they race side by side into turn number 3. Ranger decides there's nothing there on the outside, tucks back in line, protects that second position. Kevin Lacroix, the 74, alongside Jason Hathaway as Hathaway gets the run down the back straightaway to take the 3rd spot. Right now, Glenn Stiers is in the free pass position. He's got to stay out there for another 45 laps to the midway break unless there's a yellow flag prior to that. Jason Hathaway to the inside of Andrew Ranger in that 3 machine. Ranger up the racetrack just a little bit. Hathaway couldn't get back to the throttle quick enough. This allows Marc-Antoine Cameron to squirt away in that 96 machine. He opens up a 4-car advantage down the back straightaway. Hathaway up the racetrack a little bit there in 3 and 4. Kevin Lacroix, like he thought about driving to the inside in the 74 machine. He'll stay back in the 4th spot. DJ Kennington 5th. LP Dumoulin with a good run here in the early going. He qualified outside of the top 10, but he's up just outside of the top 5 at this point. Donald Teage in the 80 with Matthew Shirley right behind him in the 28. Matthew Shirley in the 8th spot, having a good run here in the early going. And he looks to the inside of the Teage number 80 down through turn number 2. Teage pulls him off of turn 2. Fends off that challenge, but he goes into the corner, slides up the racetrack. Matthew Shirley able to keep that car pinned to the inside. Things have settled down at the front. The top 6 Spread out a little bit, but nose to tail. It's a 6-car breakaway. Funny how this sport works. Glenn Steyer's right behind the 43 of Chantal Kalika. Those were the two drivers that just got mixed up in that yellow. Remember, Chantal Kalika is now 2 laps down to the race leader. So it could be a long day for that driver. Donald Teach way up the track in that 80 machine. We saw DJ Kennington doing that earlier on, running a higher groove. Now we see Donald Teach up there in the 80, running about a lane and a half off the inside of the racetrack. Andrew Ranger looks to be closing in on the race leader. He's a little bit quicker than Marc-Antoine Cameron last time at the stripe. This time Cameron was a little bit quicker than Ranger in the 27. The top 5 have pulled away from the 47 of LP Dumoulin. Cameron again a little bit faster than the 27 of Ranger, but we're only talking about hundredths of a second. Ranger still within 3-4 car lengths of the race leader. Now Glenn Steyer's to the inside of Chantal Kalika. He'll make that move. It is not for position. Steyer's 1 lap down to the race leader. Chantal Kalika 2 laps down to the race leader. Mark Dilley has climbed out of the 64 machine. Disappointment for the driver from Barrie, Ontario. And we've got a battle for the lead. Andrew Ranger looks to the inside of Marc-Antoine Cameron off of turn number 4. He is right on the rear bumper of that 96 machine as they race into turn 3. Cameron able to hug the inside of the racetrack and get the power down. He's got a great handling race car, but Andrew Ranger rolling the center of the turns is a little bit better right now than the race leader. He closes in on that back bumper between turns 3 and 4. You could almost see, watching the left rear tire of Marc-Antoine Cameron, you can almost see the stress on these chassis as it looks like the rear ends want to come out the left side of the race car when they're under load in the corners, and Cameron's is more exaggerated probably than just about anybody on the racetrack. Ranger keeping the pressure on, about a half car length off the back end of that 96. They both race for the same sponsor, but they've had their share of run-ins on the racetrack. They're both very aggressive drivers, very successful race car drivers. And they are virtually identical out there on the racetrack right now. Look at Ranger just a foot off the back bumper of that 96 down into the corner. Gets him loose in turn number 4. Slight contact for the lead. Cameron almost concedes. Nope, he's going to get back and give Ranger a push. Andrew Ranger to the lead in the 27 on lap 101. Ranger out in front. Jason Hathaway in the 3 right behind that 96. Kevin Lacroix in the 74 is right there as well. 4-car breakaway at the front, but now that he's out in front, can Andrew Ranger pull away from the competition? He was about a 1/10 of a second faster that last lap than Marc-Antoine Cameron. Now Kevin Lacroix to the inside of Hathaway. That's a battle for the 3rd spot into turn number 1. Lacroix slides up the racetrack a little bit. They're dead even on the back straightaway. Hathaway drives it deep into turn number 3. Lacroix able to roll the bottom of the corner well, but Hathaway still with that 3rd position as they charge into turn 1. Hathaway fends off the advance of the 74 Kevin Lacroix. DJ Kennington under attack by the 47 of LP Dumoulin as they race into turn number 3. Kennington once again working the second groove of the racetrack. LP Dumoulin down low. Whoa, Jason Hathaway all sorts of loose in turn number 1. Not sure if he had help or not from Kevin Lacroix, but he spent the entirety of turn 1 and 2 trying to save the back end of that race car as it was coming around. That car looks to be a little bit loose, even without a push from the 74 of Kevin Lacroix. Out in front, Andrew Ranger able to pull away. Although that lap, Cameron was a little quicker. Chantel Kalika with a problem in the 43. I believe there was contact with the 84 of Larry Jackson. See the right front fender of the Jackson 84. A little bit crumpled. Closing in on the midway break, we're 15 laps shy of lap 125. Andrew Ranger is out in front, putting a gap between himself and Marc-Antoine Cameron. LP Dumoulin still trying to make a move on the 17 of DJ Kennington. That's a battle for the 5th spot. The battle for the 3rd spot as Jason Hathaway with the position. Kevin Lacroix giving chase. Chantel Kalika going to go another lap down to the race leader. This time Andrew Ranger to the inside of that 43 machine. Now Kevin Lacroix to the inside of Jason Hathaway in that race for the 3rd spot. The outside group still gets the best drive off the corner. Hathaway able to fend him off so far, but if they close in on Chantel Kalika, that could be a problem for the driver of the 3 machine as Kalika and Hathaway trying to close the door on Kevin Lacroix. Lacroix not going to let that happen. They'll be 3 wide off of turn 4. Kevin Lacroix just not able to get the power to the racetrack on the inside to complete that pass of Jason Hathaway. 115 laps complete in this Leland Industries 250 as Thomas Neveu about to go another lap down in the 24 machine. Ranger drives it deep into turn number 3. He'll make the pass on the 24. LP Dumoulin finally gets all the way alongside DJ Kennington, then gets sideways in turn number 1, has to give up all that ground that he made. Kennington able to fend him off. Ranger trying to close in on Larry Jackson in the 84. Jackson pedaling as fast as he can. He's got to try to keep Ranger behind him for another 7 laps. He doesn't want to go down a second lap here if he can avoid it. LP Dumoulin trying to close back in once again on the 17. DJ Kennington, he draws in on the back bumper of the Castrol Edge 17. Looks to the inside through 1 and 2. 120 laps complete. Larry Jackson not going to be able to keep the race leader behind him. As he goes down a second lap to the race leader, LP Dumoulin alongside DJ Kennington in that battle for the 5th spot. Kennington a master of the second groove. Dumoulin not giving up down low. In about 5 laps, he'll get some fresh General tires so LP Dumoulin can use these up as much as he wants to. He's got a good run through 1 and 2, but still the exit of turn 2 belongs to DJ Kennington in that 17. Kevin Lacroix again is caught up to the 3 of Jason Hathaway. What's on the line is the 3rd starting spot for the second half of the race. There will be the mandatory break at the midway point. Would you rather restart 3rd or would you rather restart 4th? They're going to fight hard for that spot. Kevin Lacroix picks up the 3rd position. Jason Hathaway back to 4th. LP Dumoulin once again has fallen back about a car length and a half off the 17 of DJ Kennington as we reach the midway point. The Freshstone Brands midway point of the Leland Industries 250, and Andrew Ranger is the Freshstone Brands midway race leader. Yellow flag is displayed. That will be the midway break. Unofficially, Glenn Stiers in the 10th position will get the free pass. So they'll send Glenn Stiers past the field on the outside. This is the only time that the free pass goes around the caution car prior to the end of the caution period. When it is the midway break, they send the free pass around so he gets back to the lead lap, and then they will send the entire field down pit road. So why don't we take this opportunity to take a break here if you're watching on our stream, and when we come back, it'll be time for the midway break in the second half of the Leland Industries 250. Going on all these race cars. Right side General Tires going on these cars as work has begun. They'll also take on fuel. You can see the 3 of Jason Hathaway. They're putting that race car up in the air, blowing some cool air through the front air ducts on the 3 machine. They have allowed 1 extra crew member over the pit wall just to address driver comfort and get them some cold water. Try to keep them hydrated and cool.
Here on pit road, things are starting to heat up a bit, Adam. Marc-Antoine Cameron came in here. They didn't make any changes to car. Well, actually, a very slight adjustment to the 9.6 Cameron. Andrew Ranger says they're very happy with the car. They're not going to make any changes to the 27 car. Very minor adjustments going on the Lacroix 74 as well as the top 3 are here on pit road. So they've all got their General tires and their Sunoco fuel. The other one we want to mention is Jason Hathaway is happy with the balance of the car. They're going to make some very slight adjustments to the number 3 car as well. The other story I've been following, Adam, is Larry Jackson's crew. The steering column has drooped on him, so the bolts are loose, the column isn't in the right angle. Howie and the crew have been working to get that better, and I'm sure they made these adjustments here during the break for Larry Jackson. That's all we got from pit road. Up to you guys.
So lots of reports coming up from the pits with steering column on the 84 of Larry Jackson has dropped inside of that race car. So that's got to add a degree of difficulty for that driver. There's a number of knuckles on those steering columns, but everything needs to be firmly in place or things will flop around inside the race car. It'll affect his legs. As you know, you brake with your left foot, throttle with the right foot, and you've got a steering column bouncing around in there, and shirts being thrown into the grandstands, which wouldn't be a bad thing. I think I've pretty much soaked through mine. It's a muggy day here. What a beautiful night for a race. Cars already heading back out onto the speedway. They'll come back out in the order in which they went in. Let's give you a full field rundown as they run right now. With 127 laps complete, Andrew Ranger is the race leader. He took the lead on lap 101 from Marc-Antoine Cameron. Cameron still runs in the second spot. Running third, the 74 of Kevin Lacroix. Fourth, the 3, Jason Hathaway. Fifth is DJ Kennington in the 17. 6th through 10th, the 47, LP Dumoulin. The 80, Donald Teague. 28, Matthew Shirley. 46, Jamie Krizik. And the 0, Glenn Stiers. All of those cars on the lead lap. Running 11th, 2 laps down, Larry Jackson in the 84. 12th is the 24, Thomas Neveu. 13th is the 43, Chantel Kalika. She is 3 laps down. And 14th, many laps down, his night is done, is the 64 of Mark Dilley. But how about Matthew Shirley and Jamie Krizik staying on the lead lap, running up inside the top 10, having a great drive so far. They get 2 opportunities every year. Saskatoon and Edmonton. And clearly for Matthew Shirley, well, I believe Matthew Shirley, Jamie Krizik, and Chantel Kalika, Saskatoon is circled on the calendar. This is the track they think they can perform the best on, and from what we've seen, that's hard to argue. Hard to argue against, I should say, to be clear. We won't be long to get this field sorted out and get the one to go and get back to green flag racing here in the Leland Industries 250. The points battle is a close one between the 96 of Marc-Antoine Cameron, the 27 Andrew Ranger, the 74 of Kevin Lacroix. Look at that, the top 3 cars all rising to the occasion as we're about to go back to green. 131 laps complete here in the Leland Industries 250. Great launch for Andrew Ranger, leaves Marc-Antoine Cameron to battle it out with Kevin Lacroix in the 74. Jason Hathaway gets down in line just ahead of DJ Kennington in the 17. They're going to try to shuffle that 96 of Cameron back as he's hung up in that outside groove. Some donuts on the right side of the 74 of Kevin Lacroix. He's made some contact with the 96 of Cameron. Cameron able to muscle his way back in line just ahead of the 3 of Jason Hathaway. DJ Kennington, the 17, right on the back bumper. As we look at that train of cars, they are a tightly bunched pack, a super competitive field here at Sutherland Automotive Speedway. Kennington looking pretty racy, having a poke to the inside of Jason Hathaway. That's a battle for 4th. Right behind him, Donald Teague in that 80 machine. Remember, Teague pitted early in that first half to make some adjustments on that 80, so he's had a couple of swings on pit road to try to improve the 80 machine. He was the fastest car in practice this afternoon. Kennington still putting the pressure on the 3 of Hathaway's right on the back bumper. Long-time rivals, both of them originally from the St. Thomas area. Donald Teague right there to capitalize should anything happen between the 17 of Kennington, the 3 of Jason Hathaway. Kennington again giving a bit of a push to that 3 machine off of turn number 4. He'll drive to the inside in turn 1. Top 2 have pulled away. Andrew Ranger and Kevin Lacroix. Cameron back in 3rd, all by himself as Hathaway and Kennington battle for the 4th spot. DJ Kennington's a veteran. He knows he can't spend a lot of laps running the inside of Jason Hathaway. It just puts too much strain on those general tires. You don't want to overheat them. You don't want to overwork them this early in the second half of the race. So what he wants to do is get a good drive, complete the pass on Hathaway, and then try to track down Cameron. But right now, Jason Hathaway doing a stellar job on the high side, keeping him behind. Kennington right up alongside Hathaway in the 3. Hathaway pulls him down the backstretch. Forces Kennington sort of back to square one, and now Hathaway's cleared the 17 of DJ Kennington. Kennington opens up his entry to turn number 1. Couldn't drive underneath the 3 on corner exit. Turn 4 seems to be where he's much faster than the 3 machine, at least when they're both running nose to tail and not side by side. So we'll see if he tries to close in to make a move between 3 and 4, but right now he's got Donald Teague in the 80 to contend with right behind him. Now Teague up the inside of the 17, DJ Kennington, battle for the 5th spot. Again, Teague, a gifted oval track racer with decades of experience. That's, problem for Jamie Krizik in the 46. He's off the pace. He peels down towards pit lane. Trouble for that 46 machine.
here on pit road. Crew going to work on the right front of this machine. They've got problems with the right front, flat right front for Jamie Kresick.
What a shame for Kresick. Fortunately, he was able to keep that car off the outside wall. But the crew going to go to work. The trouble with a flat right front, it is so easy to wear off the sway bar arm or the bolt that holds the sway bar in. They'll continue to go to work, and I'm not sure if they're going to be able to get that fixed. Now Kennington losing another spot to the 47 of LP Dumoulin. We're into the final 100 laps here at the Leland Industries 250. The top two now, Andrew Ranger of the 27, the 74 of Kevin Lacroix with nearly half a straightaway advantage over Marc-Antoine Cameron in the 96. Jason Hathaway getting loose there in turn number 4. Andrew Ranger and Kevin Lacroix closing in on some slower traffic. Chantel Kalika in front of them with Glenn Stiers in the 0. They're not really battling their nose to tail out on the racetrack. About a half a straightaway ahead of our race leaders. They close in quickly. They are turning some blistering laps. Chantel Kalika will be the first car the leaders close in on. She'll move to the outside, give them plenty of room down low. Marc-Antoine Cameron, though, in the 96, a little bit faster than our lead duo right now, although they're in some traffic. Cameron with open racetrack. They close in on Glenn Stiers. Stiers moves up the track, gives the inside to Andrew Ranger. Kevin Lacroix, he'll come through as well. Thomas Neveu in the 24 down pit lane. It almost looks like fluid on the right rear corner of that race car. I'm not sure what's going on in the right rear, but they're going to go under the hood.
Pulls the 24 car here to pit road. Obviously, a cooling issue is the car very hot here. They're going to pour some water down across that rat and try and bring the temperature down. You can see they've got the fans in there doing everything they can to cool down the 24.
Overheating the issue down in the Thomas Neveu pit, as we heard from Clinton Jeffrey. It is a warm day. We saw some of the cars at the midway break with fans hooked up to the front end. Marc-Antoine Cameron still battling with the 0 of Glenn Stiers. So that costs him a little bit of time on the racetrack. Jason Hathaway a little bit behind the Cameron 96. Side by side, Matthew Shirley to the inside of DJ Kennington. That's a battle for the 7th spot as Matthew Shirley having a great run. That car without a single mark on it. Matthew Shirley and that crew can be proud of their effort here tonight, that is for sure. Now Now in clean racetrack, let's see Andrew Ranger with a 15.595, a little bit quicker than Kevin Lacroix and basically identical to Marc-Antoine Cameron. Those are the three fastest cars on the racetrack. Another driver really coming to life, LP Dumoulin, up in the top 5 in that 47 machine. He was lousy in practice this afternoon by his standards. Qualifying did not go the way he would have liked. Qualified outside the top 10, but he has raced his way into a top 5 spot, and he is trying to close the gap on Jason Hathaway in the 3. Kevin Lacroix is keeping Andrew Ranger honest at the front of the field. Ranger out in front by about 3 car lengths. Lacroix a little bit faster that lap as he closes the gap. Marc-Antoine Cameron still turning identical laps, almost to the 1,000th of a second as our race leader, Andrew Ranger. Thomas Neva in the 24. They began to push that race car. Now they're pushing him back into the pit stall. His night may be over.
Pit road, they tried to push it off, but it would not fire. They've now backed it down pit road, back to the pit box here. We'll see what they do, if they attempt to fire it up or if this will be the end of the 24 today.
Ranger gets around Larry Jackson to put that driver another lap down. Kevin Lacroix right behind him. 74 laps remain here in the Leland Industries 250 as things have strung out just a little bit. DJ Kennington back up to the second groove in the 17 machine. But let's have a look at the times out on the racetrack. Last time by, Andrew Ranger of 15.633, Marc-Antoine Cameron 15.572. LP Dumoulin faster than the race leader, Matthew Shirley, turning good laps out there. Oh, trouble off of turn number 4. The 80 of Donald Teach goes around. He'll try to get that car refired before the race leader, Andrew Ranger, gets by. He is unable to do it. There were a number of cars in the vicinity as Teach now a lap down. We see some donuts along the right side door of the 80 Donald Teach. And he gets back in line after losing a lap. You can see the smoke in the air on the front straightaway. As the field bunches up behind the pace car, let's take another break for those of you watching the stream. Nope, let's have a look at the replay. And yeah, he was all by himself. Donald Teach goes around off the exit at turn number 4. All the cars behind basically just checked up to avoid making it a multi-car melee. As the crew talks it over on pit road, let's take a break here for those watching on the stream. And when we come back, we'll have the exciting finish of the Leland Industries 250. Welcome back to Sutherland Automotive Speedway. We are 1 to go to the green flag. Glenn Steyer's back on the lead lap. In the GSR, Ashwegan Speedway number 0. Tires running in the 8th spot. Matthew Shirley 6th of note. Let's see what he can do on this restart. Through the Pinty's restart zone, Andrew Ranger leads the way in the 27. Side by side off of turn number 2, Kevin Lacroix with a good run on the outside. Ranger going to drive it as deep as he can into 3, but not as deep as Kevin Lacroix could. Kevin Lacroix leads lap 185. Sorry, 184. As he comes around the outside of Andrew Ranger, he'll try to close the door, but no, he's going to stay up in that second groove, leave the inside open, but Kevin Lacroix, now the race leader, Marc-Antoine Cameron, third in that 96 is, problem for Matthew Shirley in the 28. What could it be as he's going to come to rest on the outside? No, he's going to keep the car running and head down pit road. Could it be a flat right front tire? We have a look at the car coming around. Indeed, a flat right front tire on the Shirley number 28. Heartbreak.
Shirley will bring the 28 car to pits. They've got a problem with the right front, so the Kennington crew going to go to work on the right front here for Matthew Shirley. It blew just going into 2.
Marc-Antoine Cameron pressuring the 27 of Andrew Ranger as they race off of turn number 2 down the back straightaway. Kevin Lacroix enjoying that battle in his rearview mirror. Here goes Cameron to the inside of Ranger. They'll drag race down the front straightaway. Ranger still with the spot at the stripe. Ranger with the advantage on the backstretch. Cameron drives it deep into turn number 3. They'll be side by side down the front stretch. Kevin Lacroix is loving this as he drives away. Andrew Ranger still with the position at the line. Cameron unable to clear that 27. They still remain door to door. Jason Hathaway behind them, not really able to close in. A little bit of contact off of turn number 4. Good short track racing between a couple of drivers from Quebec. The battle continues for that second spot, and as they continue to race side by side, Kevin Lacroix continues to drive away. Cameron clears the 27 of Ranger. Not sure how much Andrew Ranger's going to like that. A little aggressive off of turn number 4, but as long as Cameron able to keep out in front of the 27. Battle for the 4th spot. As LP Dumoulin on the inside of Jason Hathaway. Dumoulin in that 47 WeatherTech sponsored entry. He's had to work his way through the field all night long now. A little bit of contact in 3 and 4 sends Jason Hathaway up the racetrack. Dumoulin will squirt by on the inside. He'll take that 4th spot at the line. DJ Kennington trying to close in to make that a 3-car race for the 4th spot, but LP Dumoulin with the position. Hathaway right on his tail. Now the top 6 single file out on the racetrack. Let's have a look at timing and scoring and see who's the fastest at the stripe. Kevin Lacroix faster than everybody else on the racetrack with a 15.623. Not by an awful lot, but he is definitely the fastest car. We're 1 lap shy of lap 200 in this Leland Industries 250. Just over 50 laps left to go. Who has saved their equipment for a run to the checkered flag? Top 6 all within half a straightaway as they charge off of turn number 4. 200 laps in the book as LP Dumoulin gets loose down into turn number 1. Manages to save that race car before Jason Hathaway gets into attack mode to battle for that position. Marc-Antoine Cameron just a hair faster than Kevin Lacroix, but it'll take all of those 50 laps at that rate to close in on the race leader. Not a lot of slower traffic out on the racetrack. So it's going to come down to who has the fastest race car in open air, and right now it is Marc-Antoine Cameron in that 96, but Kevin Lacroix keeps hitting his marks. They're running laps within a tenth of a second of each other, lap after lap. And none of these drivers out there are prone to making many mistakes. A little bit of slower traffic, half a straightaway ahead of Kevin Lacroix. You know the spotters will be up on the spotter stand having conversations, trying to make sure things work as smoothly as possible for them, but Cameron is definitely closing the gap. He's now a tenth of a second faster a lap than the race leader, and he is 1 second behind the race leader. If he can maintain that pace, he'll be caught up to the race leader within 10 laps. Kevin Lacroix looking in his rearview mirror, sees that 96 getting a little bit bigger lap after lap, looks out his windshield, sees a row of slower traffic, so he's going to have to get there and make some aggressive decisions because Marc-Antoine Cameron is on the hunt. Matthew Shirley in the 28 immediately moves up the racetrack to leave the inside open to race leader Kevin Lacroix. He'll drive to the inside in turn number 3. Clear the 28 machine off at turn 4, so 1 down, 2 to go for Kevin Lacroix. Marc-Antoine Cameron going to close in, try to do the same thing, but I don't think Cameron caught him in quite as opportune a position as the 74 of Kevin Lacroix. No, Cameron lost a little bit more than a tenth of a second in that exchange. So Kevin Lacroix, 2 out of 3 slower cars, and Lacroix has caught them in an opportune way, but now he's closed in on Glenn's tires. And he made the decision in a hurry. He was going to go to the bumper right away, and that's what he did. Marc-Antoine Cameron going to go to the inside of Steyer's down into turn number 3, so they will clear those cars. Chantel Kalika going to do the same thing. She drives the inside of the zero machine. But through that lap traffic, Kevin Lacroix extended his lead back to nearly a full second over Marc-Antoine Cameron. Andrew Ranger trails behind. He is almost under attack from the 47 of LP Dumoulin. Now in open racetrack, Kevin Lacroix is a little bit faster again than Marc-Antoine Cameron. Let's see as they complete lap 214, a 7:06 compared to a 6:17. So Cameron back up on the whip in that 96 machine, trying to keep Kevin Lacroix honest in that 74. Both of these drivers not going to give up easily out there, so opportunity could knock. If you're the 27 of Andrew Ranger, the 47 of LP Dumoulin, if the leaders get into a melee. It's the last 2 laps. Cameron was a tenth of a second faster than Kevin Lacroix. This time at the stripe, Kevin Lacroix was a couple hundredths of a second faster than Marc-Antoine Cameron. Top running local racer through a smooth and steady race is Chantel Kalika, running in the top 10. So Kalika, after some problems earlier on, has got out there and run steady laps in that 43 machine, runs in that 10th position. Now we can measure in car lengths. It's 4 car lengths between the 2 leaders. Kevin Lacroix, that Napa 74, but the GM Paillet 96 of Marc-Antoine Cameron, like it has all day long, just clinging to that yellow line on the inside of the racetrack as he closes the gap on the race leader. 30 laps to go this time of the stripe in the Leland Industries 250. You see, Kevin Lacroix has a bit more of an open entry into turn number 1 than the 96 of Marc-Antoine Cameron. Cameron just drives that car down to the yellow line and keeps it there all the way around the turn. We're now 3 car lengths between first and second place, as we could be setting up for a classic finish here at Sutherland Automotive Speedway. Couple of slower cars ahead, and they're not that slow. Donald Teague, again, was the fastest car in practice this afternoon. Things haven't gone his way. Recently spun out, lost a lap. And Kevin Lacroix drive to the inside. That's going to allow Marc-Antoine Cameron to close right in on the back bumper of the race leader. Cameron is there. They drive down through 3 and 4. Runs a tighter line around the corners than the 74 of Kevin Lacroix. Gives him a bit of a push there in turn number 2. Larry Jackson 10 car lengths out in front of the race leaders. He will likely move over and give plenty of room to the 2 drivers battling for the win, as we've got 25 laps to go here in Saskatoon. Lacroix knows, hit his marks, get the car settled down in the turn. If he tries to drive it too hard and starts to get a little bit loose, any contact will allow Cameron just to drive right on by. Cameron with the nose to the inside. It's going to be 3 wide to the inside of Larry Jackson in that battle for the lead. Marc-Antoine Cameron to the inside. They'll race door to door off at turn number 2. Down the back straightaway, Lacroix with the advantage. He'll try to pin down the 96 just as much as he can as they get to the exit. Lots of gap between those 2. So Kevin Lacroix drives into the corner. Contact between the top 2 for the race lead. Cameron slides up in turn 1 and 2. They make contact. And that time at the line, it was Kevin Lacroix by 16 one-thousandths of a second. The battle resumes. These 2 had a heated discussion at the end of the race in Newfoundland last month. Neither of them were very happy with the other. And they'll continue to do battle door to door, side by side, as Cameron on the inside in the 96. Kevin Lacroix up high in the 74. Lap after lap with 20 laps left to go. It'll be 19 laps this time. We've got a new race leader. It's Marc-Antoine Cameron. Kevin Lacroix keeping him down the racetrack as much as he can. He'll drive it deep into turn number 3. Lacroix trying to fight back on the high side. Cameron down low, that shorter distance. He'll continue to lead. Turn number 1 is really the difference maker. That can upset. There's a bump going into turn number 1 that can upset the car more so on the inside than the outside. That's what we saw happen to Cameron just a few laps to go. Is now he will complete the pass of Kevin Lacroix. Lacroix going to tuck down in line, and he cross him over on the exit of turn number 2, right up on the back bumper of the 96. A little bump between 3 and 4 from Kevin Lacroix to the race leader, Marc-Antoine Cameron. Classic short track racing here in Saskatoon. Shadowing the move of the race leader, Cameron with a better drive off the corner, but Kevin Lacroix with a better run on entry and through the center. Glenn Steyer's in the 0, just ahead of these race leaders. Kevin Lacroix now a car length back off the 96 of Marc-Antoine Cameron. Cameron just a hair quicker these last few laps as laps continue to wind down. They close in on Glenn Steyer. Steyer's up high, leaves that inside lane for the race leaders to drive on through. Cameron gets by. Now Kevin Lacroix gets by on the front straightaway. 13 laps to go here in Saskatoon. Marc-Antoine Cameron now with a 2-car length advantage over the 74. Kevin Lacroix, they race off at turn number 4. Cameron almost a tenth of a second faster that lap than the 74 of Kevin Lacroix. There's more slower traffic up ahead that they may just encounter with 11 laps left. Matthew Shirley is out in front of these race leaders. That could affect the outcome of this race. I'm sure Shirley will get out of the way, but it's all a matter of where they encounter that slower traffic and how it affects that given lap as they work down into 1 and 2. Cameron in the 96 out in front by 2 car lengths, 3 car lengths down the backstretch. The last time, race fans, the 2 leaders ran identical lap times to the 1,000th of a second. Cameron to the inside has to check up just a little bit on acceleration, but he is pulling away from Kevin Lacroix in the 74. 8 laps left to go. Does Kevin Lacroix have anything in reserve to try to catch Marc-Antoine Cameron, the race leader? We are going to find out as they charge into turn number 3. Kevin Lacroix, that car is a handful down into entry of turn number 1, gets all sorts of loose. Every time that 74 bobbles, you see Marc-Antoine Cameron pick up a car length or 2 gap in that 96. That lap, once again, nearly identical lap times. Kevin Lacroix needs to pull a miracle out of his hat behind the wheel of the 74 if he wants to get to Everham victory lane tonight. 5 laps to go, said race starter Mike Charret from the flag stand. Scanning around the racetrack, the closest battle on the track is this battle for the lead. Cameron with the spot. Kevin Lacroix a little bit faster that time, but he's going to have to make up more ground. He is nearly 0.8 of a second back with 3 laps to go. He has got to pull out a miracle here in Saskatoon. You can see visibly Kevin Lacroix just a little bit faster in these last couple of laps as he found something that'll allow him to close in on the back bumper of Marc-Antoine Cameron. Picked up a tenth of a second that lap. This time at the stripe, it'll be white flag, 1 lap to go. He's about 6 car lengths back. That is a lot of ground to try to make up in 1 lap around Sutherland Automotive Speedway. Final time off of turn number 2. Marc-Antoine Cameron puts the hammer down in the 96. Kevin Lacroix will close the gap into 3 and 4, but he's not going to get there. The Leland Industries 250 goes to Marc-Antoine Cameron. Kevin Lacroix comes home second. Andrew Ranger going to finish third. LP Dumoulin fourth. Jason Hathaway fifth. DJ Kennington comes home 6th, Donald Teach 7th, Glenn Stiers 8th, Larry Jackson 9th, and how about Chantel Kalika rounds out the top 10. She survived that race after some trouble early on for a great result, but race fans, Marc-Antoine Cameron stalked his prey. Kevin Lacroix, lap after lap, took the lead after a wild side-by-side battle, lap after lap, and drove away to collect another victory in the 2024 NASCAR Canada Series. Cameron with the checkered flag going to take a victory lap and head on down to Everham victory lane where he'll be greeted by Clinton Jeffrey.
Well, fans, they can hear you now. Make some noise for your winner here, Marc-Antoine Cameron. Marc-Antoine Cameron out of the car here. We'll get in and get a quick word with him. How about it, fans? Mark holds up the Sunoco checkered flag in celebration here for the photographers. We'll get a quick word with them. Mark, let's talk about your day. 2 big wins in a row here on the tour. What a rebound in the past few weeks for your team.
Yeah, well, that's another big win for the GM Paillet. We started the race pretty good. Then after that, the car was a little bit tight. We make an adjustment on the halfway break. Takes time to get the car to get in, but after, like I would say, 50 laps, car was really consistent. So I was able to make a pass on Kevin, the 74. So yeah, what a way to start a trip out west.
Congrats. Let's talk quickly about the heat. Tough day here with the humidity.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was one of the most hot day, for a Saturday drive for sure.
Congrats. Marc-Antoine Cameron picks up the win, everybody. How about a big round of applause for your winner tonight?
And for those watching on the stream, that'll do it for our coverage from Sutherland Automotive Speedway. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next weekend from Edmonton International Raceway.